They're really a good pet. They require quite a bit less maintenance than a horse.
Horses and burros are available for adoption year-round at their holding facility in Florence. And the BLM has also implemented a national online adoption system to help increase the chances of more burros finding homes.
We typically, straight adoption out of Arizona, we typically adopt around 50 head. This year we're already getting close to that. It's a fiscal year. So I'm hoping to actually get closer to 75 to 100 head this year in Arizona though. But we as a state really provide 3/4 of the burros for the rest of the adoption system across the country. For instance, last year I think I shipped out, 150 burros I shipped out to other facilities last year. This year I've already shipped 100 burros out, and I've got a shipment of 50 burros going out on Monday to other adoption facilities across the United States, so that that demand that exists there for burros, we're in Arizona trying to fill it.
Wendy Ross found exactly what she was looking for at this event.
On the very first ordinance, so if it's no one objects, let's consider that first. So we're debating and discussing what we're going to end up voting on. That's okay. Councilmember Knight.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you. After reading this, I recommended have a motion that I would like to recommend. Staff had recommended that we delete an entire sentence, Section 1, subsection 154-22-01, the last sentence. However, I kind of liked the sentence and felt that it gave the city a disclaimer, and I would like to see it put back in without the medical portion before marijuana, but just marijuana. So I'll read my motion. I move that ordinance O 2021-002, section 1, subsection 154-22.01, titled Purpose, be amended to add a revised version of the last strike-through sentence so that the last sentence reads, furthermore, the city of Yuma does not condone the use of marijuana or violation of federal law.
Is there a second on that motion? And then we'll discuss.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Does council have any comments or questions or thoughts on that before I take the vote?
Mr. Mayor?
Councilmember Knight?
I would just like to comment that I just see it as a disclaimer so that it doesn't appear that the city condones or endorses violations to federal law. It also serves as a reminder to the public that even though they cannot be cited by state, county, or local law enforcement, they could still be cited by federal law enforcement. And it also gives the city plausible deniability of advocating violation of a federal law.
Okay. And
so for those reasons, I felt like it should be left in, and for no other reason than those.
Okay. In my opinion, it mirrors what we have in our medical marijuana law, so it's appropriate to have that mirror, in my opinion. So that's fine with me. I just want to make sure everyone has an opportunity to read that before we vote. All right. All those in so I have a motion by Councilmember Knight, a second by Councilmember Sheldon. As stated, all those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those opposed, nay. And the motion carries. All right, now we have 3 items, 1 amended item, 2 as presented, up for comments, questions by council. Okay. Hearing, Councilmember Watts?
Thank you. I just have, wait a minute, are we still?
We're on
the introduction, right?
the whole introduction list, all
Okay.
3 of them, yes.
I just had a quick question on number 2.
Okay. Traffic rules.
Traffic rules.
So it's either, that would be probably attorney's office? from the city attorney's office.
Okay.
So,
My question is, does this state law create any changes in our current cell phone laws and fines, or is it just a clarification to be in uniform with the state law?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, Councilmember Watts, what happened is the state law changed, and it essentially mirrors what the city of Yuma already has. And because the state law with its change, it was a phase-in, it was a one-year phase-in. With that change, the state has preempted the field. So really by having that redundancy, it could lead to some confusion. So we just are recommending that the council repeal that one, and for any enforcement of the texting while driving, it would be under state law rather than the city ordinance.
Okay, thank you.
very good. Any other comments or questions? Do we have any speakers sign up for any of those three items?
Yes, Mayor, I have one speaker,
Please call the first speaker, or the speaker.
Pele Fisher. They are attending via Zoom.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, this is Pele. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we can. If we could get your address, and then we'll proceed with your comments.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure you could hear me first.
Thank
Mayor
you.
Nichols and members of the Yuma City Council, my name is Pele Peacock Fisher. My address is 4602 East Thomas Road, Suite W2, Phoenix, Arizona 85018. I'm an attorney and I represent Divine Holdings and other related entities that are investigating applying for a marijuana establishment license in Yuma County. At first, I really wanted to be here to provide support and education about how that application process was going to function, because as part of Prop 207, there's essentially a backfill to counties that have 2 or fewer medical marijuana licenses. Yuma County right now, at minimum, has 1 available license. Part of that application process requires local zoning jurisdiction sign-off. That form that will come before the city, gives options of the sign-off, and really that sign-off is talking about the zone that the proposed location is in. But first, I want to address the proposed ordinance. Prop 207 allows the locality to enact reasonable zoning regulations. However, a locality may not enact an ordinance that is more restrictive than a comparable ordinance that applies to medical marijuana dispensaries, or that makes the operation of a marijuana establishment unduly burdensome. The ordinance as presented is more restrictive, as it essentially will prohibit a marijuana establishment that is not a dual licenses from operating in the city. I really would like to better understand the council's goals for this ordinance, because if the goal is to limit the number of marijuana-related businesses, this current ordinance doesn't do that. Any dual license could come and attempt to locate in Yuma City in accordance with the zoning ordinances and restrictions. But any dual license would not be able to. So if your goal is to limit the number of licenses, this isn't accomplishing it. I'm able to be a resource to really help make sure your goal is tied to what you're accomplishing. And I'd also like the city council to think about the consequences of potentially closing the door on this license allocation. One, we've seen previous precedent that where zoning restrictions under marijuana have been called into play, that they have really, turned into, a big exposure to zoning ordinances in general. 2, this allocation that's happening in this very time-constricted portion. They're accepting applications between yesterday and March 9th. is a one-time opportunity. And if that opportunity is closed, the city could miss out on potential TPT revenue, potential jobs, and these jobs are good paying jobs with benefits. And these licenses that will be provided as part of a backfill will be restricted to staying within the county. And so it really will, or the local jurisdiction. And so really it will provide a fixed location as a member of the city rather than, you know, more of a commodity that can move like some of the medical marijuana dispensaries are. Really, I want to be a resource. You know, I want to work together comprehensively with my clients that are working on the application. And I'm sure that you guys are going to be faced with this local jurisdiction sign-off form, if you haven't already, that is really a sign-off